We are starting to get a little bit more information now detailing what Russia has warned is going to be a great global pandemic that will be caused by the United States of America and bioweapons research programs that have been allowed to take place using your tax-paying money. Whether this is factual and valid or not, we can't speak on. All we know is that using through the Freedom of Information Acts, through other resources and open source intelligence gathering operations, we are able to see that these types of activities have in fact taken place. Russia said that they're using European laboratories. There will be a weaponized virus or some sort of biological that will be released and unleashed on the human population in the next couple of months or the next couple of years. They say if that does happen, it's going to be in reaction to Russia moving beyond Ukraine and maybe China and Russia openly, right out in the open, saying, you know what, this is a world war and we are not going to stop until the United States of America no longer exists in the capacity that it does right now. Now, this is a huge fear for the American government, and especially all the politicians whose pocketbooks are being lined by your tax-paying money. The fact that they're selling out your land to overseas contractors and investment firms, and that they are pretty much making you poor so that they can be rich. This is their concern. Russia says that if you attack our sovereignty, if you attack our territorial integrity, then we'll nuke you into oblivion. China says that the only reason they're going to use nuclear weapons is because of an affront to their sovereignty, again, or their territorial integrity. And that basically means if you do something that stops Russia or China as a government from being capable of operating in the way that they are right now, or if you move your soldiers onto their land, something like that. The U.S. reportedly has a whole different game plan. If the U.S. is threatened in its stature in the world, in the way that it governs its people, in the current operations that we see day to day, then apparently there's going to be some sort of biological event that takes place. I sure hope it doesn't, but I am preparing for it. A next level pandemic, a next level biological threat is something that's going to cause a huge loss of life. It means everybody's going to be stuck inside their homes. They will be duct taping their AC vents. They will be on contact, blowing out anybody who comes near their house. It's going to be a whole different world than what we saw during, I guess, the peak in the 2020s. Now, Estonia and other countries right now, these countries make up NATO's eastern flank. They are part of the alliance as a whole. They have, according to reports, just a few months to begin preparing for Russia to move beyond Ukraine and start attacking other countries. Guys, you saw Poland come out and say this. You saw this information right here with Poland, with Germany, saying that they are at war with Russia. They are. And let me tell you, they absolutely are. If we look to what's happening right now, we can see a world event taking place. Military researchers are giving information to NATO allies. They say Russia represents the only pressing threat to NATO countries. The alliance will only be able to influence the ability to deter and defend itself from Russia and Russia's actual decisions by better arming themselves and being safer than sorry. Fighting with the army you have is necessary. We must move our political and economic payoffs so that these scenarios do not become a part of our life. Well, that means they're going to draft your kids. They're going to steal more of your money. They might go door to door to take your food, to take your money. Who knows what's really going to happen? They say if Russia is allowed to adapt now, then by the year 2028, the Kremlin will be restored to the full military potential that has been destroyed by NATO countries thus far. Russia will have enough power to attack the entire world's government order, and that will focus on Russian expansionism and a together partnership with the Chinese Communist Party that will see a complete erasure of the United States of America, the current world order as it exists today, and everything that you know as your Western ability to live. Now that kind of goes hand in hand with our initial story, doesn't it? That if the U.S. is threatened as a government, if the U.S. is threatened as a populace, politicians, they might just unleash some sort of biological threat. They say there's a risk of war in East Asia. This risk could go nuclear. The conflict that's taking place between China and Taiwan, North Korea, and the West is likely to grow in a time frame that exacerbates the risk of nuclear defenses being launched. This will prevent strategic deterrence. It will be a failure of all deterrence measures by the West against Asian nations. North Korean weapons are now capable. They have policy that moves toward enabling attacks in the interim. Now, based on what we're seeing across the world, we have to get ready for a whole bunch of events to take place. This isn't just a may happen. It's not just a this could happen. Guys, we just had a massive storm wipe across the west coast of the United States of America, took out millions of people's power. It flooded streets with debris, knocked down trees. We've had wildfires in South America that have killed hundreds of people. These natural disasters, combined with the conflicts that we're seeing in the real world, are shaping up to show that 2024 is going to be a hellacious, a very disastrous kind of year. Mix this in with the depression that we're seeing among the people. They can't pay for food. They're getting kicked out of their house. Some of them are contemplating life itself. Some of them are at their end in their ability to cope. There's no mechanisms that have been instilled by parenting, by government. They've actually erased those, filled what used to be coping mechanisms with pharmaceuticals and drugs, and then they've made these drugs too expensive for people to be able to pay for, unless you are just the perfect kind of slave. Now, if you fit into their game plan where you're either a paid-for voter, which we all know what that really means, or if you are some sort of individual that is able to capitalize on capitalism, even in this corrupt capitalism that we live in, then you can afford these things. For everybody in the middle, everybody is trying hard and working 2 jobs and Uber eating just to be able to eat themselves. This is a complete disaster. The thing is, economists, realists, we all know it's not about to get better. Now, Kelly and I know you have a limited window here, a very limited opportunity to try and get ready. So we are going to ask you to please work with your family. If you say, Brad, I don't have any family, then start working with a group. If you say, I don't have any group, then today's the day to start looking for one and finding one. You can find them at church groups. You can find them in outdoors groups, your gardening groups. If you just put a post out somewhere about trying to learn about gardening or herbalism or something like that, you're going to be attracting the type of people that are more engaged in sustainability and a removal of dependency on the larger government than what you are today. So reach out to those people, test them, make sure that they are willing to come to your aid when you need it. Absolutely be willing to go to theirs when they need it, and start to develop what will become a mutual assistance group, or a MAG group. Now, these mutual assistance groups mean they have to help you as much as you help them. There needs to be some form of rules that take place. In the newsletter that we're putting out for next month, we're going to start talking about mission creep. Anybody in military, anybody intelligence gathering, even in some corporations, you'll understand what mission creep is. Mission creep is the movement beyond the original scope and objectives of the mission as it stood when the creation of that group was made. So when you have mission creep getting into your group or into your family and you start to move beyond those objectives, now evolution is one thing, everything evolves. You walk into a meeting and it's going to go beyond the scope of that main objective. Somebody asks a question, you start to go in that direction. Now, what happens if you're on a battlefield? Mission scope or mission creep becomes when the objective starts to evolve in that direction. You need to start writing down what you really want to do as a survivalist. If you want to look through the next couple of years, if you want to make it to 2027, 2028, now don't forget, they just came out and told the world banks, they just told the governments that this economic crisis was going to continue to get worse for us. They'll say it's getting better or it's plateaued. But for everybody else, it's going to continue to get worse until the years 2028 through 2030. That means we have a whole world of hurt that's it's right here on the slap in the face. It's just about to hit us. And so we have a little bit of time before that slap comes to say, what can I do? Can I put my hand up and guard it with some pantry that I fill up? Can I learn how to cook from raw ingredients or from staple food ingredients? Guys, if you go over to Africa and the people who are really surviving day to day, or rural India, some of these rural Asian countries, they have these nonprofit groups, sometimes NGO groups, that come in and they dump oil, flour, or a flour alternative that's local to that area, rice, or a rice alternative that's local to that area, some protein and some vegetables. So think about that for your long duration emergency planning. You need oil because, trust me, cooking that bread in fried oil is going to provide you with the fat that you need on a daily basis. You're going to need to offset the fat that you take in, whether it's by oil or shortening or something else, with something that helps the cholesterol in your veins. So you need garlic. Dried garlic, according to the National Institute of Health, is just as good as, and that's seasoning garlic, you know, the stuff you put on your breadsticks. Dried garlic is just as good as some of the stuff that you can buy in long duration vitamin and supplement planning. And they say it's pretty close to raw pressed garlic in how it helps your body remove cholesterol and remove those things. So you need your flour, you're something that you can make some sort of thin fried bread with. You need your staple sticky good like a rice or oats. You also need your fiber, you need your vegetables, and you need a meat source, a protein. So start thinking now about how you can get ready, because when you get to that point in the 2025, 2026, if you've survived that long, and I say that because, look, we're seeing people get knocked out of this world every day. People you wouldn't think, like, oh, look, there was that healthy athlete. Oh, look, there was that coach. Oh, look, there was that actor. Oh, look, here's the the local business leader. Oh, everybody in the retirement system is starting to drop out. Oh, look, all this happening. We have no guarantees of tomorrow, but if we start to plan right now, we can make tomorrow easier. So let's do that, guys. Full Spectrum Survival, only on YouTube. Guys, please watch out for that bio stuff. A lot of people are going to be out there and they're going to be speaking nonsense and disinformation and misinformation about, well, it's not real or anything like that. They're capable. Monsters are capable of doing monstrous things. And we've allowed them to run without any sort of bridle, any sort of restrictions or restraints for decades. They've developed things that are far beyond our ability to understand the disastrous reflection that they will present for our future. Prepare. It's my only mission to you. And with preparing, you have zero fear. Now, understanding concern, knowing what bad can really happen, sure, that's understandable. But you remove your fear through preparation. Thank you guys for being here with us today and every day. Full Spectrum Survival only on YouTube. Make sure you check out contingencymedical.com for real antibiotics by real doctors. Use the code FSS10 for a discount. Nutrientsurvival.com/FSS has meals that are ready to eat, other brain boosting food. The code FSS15 works there. Gen6.com has private security briefings. But what I want you to do, the first thing I want you to do, remember, I get no commission from any of that. They're just here to support the community. The first thing I want you to do, stock your pantry, build a group, or learn how to do with less, and get ready. Stay safe, everyone. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. And good luck.